Ahoy! You're listening to Tony Milazzo, live and on board, and this week's guest is Helen Hong.
Woohoo! I'm excited to be on board.
You are on board. Have you been on board before?
I'm trying to remember. I was on a cruise, but that's completely different because I was on a cruise that holds 3,500 people, so obviously you don't even know that you're on a boat, really.
Yeah.
But this is really cool, and it's beautiful. It's in the Marina. I mean, this is like a real boat.
Beautiful.
You got a real boat.
Yeah.
I did not know what the onboard meant, and now I know.
Oh. Now you do.
Literally on board.
The show is literally on board. And she's on board Bellinote today. That's right, in Marina del Rey Harbor. And
it's a beautiful day. It's actually not too hot, so it's kind of breezy, and it's really nice. And I feel like, grabbing the wheel and being like, "Arg, ahoy, matey, arg."
I could see you doing that, too. I could see you doing that, Helen. So you have been on boats before.
I have
and
been.
Ships.
Yeah. Not too many times, but I've been on, like, the Catalina shuttle, and I've been on a lobster, like a tourist lobster boat.
Uh-huh.
So things like that.
Did you take lots of photos?
I did. When I'm out to sea on a smaller boat, I do get seasick, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't get seasick on a cruise, because obviously they're humongous, and I just feel slight rocking. But
it's almost like being on land.
I've definitely puked on little boats, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
There has been puking.
Oh, yeah. Underneath those flyers right there, I have a monogrammed throw-up bag with your initials, and I give it to each person when they come on board.
Oh, that's so
thoughtful. I forgot to give it to you.
And underneath our show flyers?
It says HH, yeah. It's just
like a little puke bag?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's very thoughtful.
Yeah. Got to take care of my guests.
I've never had an initialed puke bag before.
Have to take care of my guests. It's a little souvenir, too. Take it with you, even with the puke.
Just being on this boat makes me think of this whole Malaysian Airlines thing, which is fascinating to me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm fascinated. First of all, I'm really happy that they're thinking that it's foul play. Because originally when it first happened, it was like, oh, bad Asian drivers, meh. And I was like, no, we can't be bad even while driving a plane. Well, maybe we can. But no, it's not the bad Asian driving. It's like...
aliens.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
I'm a big fan of Lost. The show Lost.
Oh, it's Lost.
So it's like, I feel like they're on a magical island, and there's polar bears.
Yeah.
There's French ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's going on.
I love that. And Hurley's there.
Yeah, I love Hurley. I love how Hurley lost no weight over the entire course of it was like 7 seasons of Lost, and he's on a deserted island eating only coconuts.
Yeah.
Still humongous.
And I like Josh. What's his character's name again? I always forget.
Sawyer.
Yeah. Oh, I can't forget Sawyer.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, that was a great show.
That was a great
But sometimes they didn't even know where they were going. You got to admit that. They had no clue where they were going.
The executives were lost.
Just like the people on Malaysian Airlines.
Yeah, I just can't imagine.
Crazy.
I just can't imagine like a humongous jumbo jet just disappearing off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
It's got to be aliens.
Anything can disappear. This shows you. Anything can disappear.
So
no matter how large, how many.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Somebody could make it disappear.
Ooh.
Pretty eerie.
Yeah, that is eerie.
Pretty eerie. Did I say pretty eerie?
Yeah. Yeah, you did. It just goes to show, if it's your time to go, you're going.
Oh, yeah. It just comes up.
Whether it be aliens or, like, crashing in the ocean, like, you're done. When it's time to be done, you're done.
Life's short.
Yeah.
If you had a bucket list, I'm sure that most of it is getting done right now anyway, because you're a busy girl.
Yeah.
Everywhere I look, I've seen your name or something going on.
Thank you.
What's happening? Why don't you, latest successes?
I was just on the Arsenio Hall show a month ago, and it was really awesome, because it was my first late-night comedy set.
Right.
And it was very sudden. It was very, it wasn't planned for months and months. It was they called me on a Tuesday and I was on TV on Thursday, one of those things. But it was Arsenio Hall, which is so cool, because I grew up with him.
Yeah.
I grew up with him, I would say, more than I grew up with Letterman or Leno, because my parents weren't you know, my parents are immigrants, so they don't really watch, they never were into watching late night talk shows.
Right.
And I was never into it. But, you know, when I was growing up, Arsenio was like with the whoo, 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 and the Bill Clinton and the saxophone.
Right.
Like, that was all stuff that I remember really clearly.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, I was really excited. And he's a really gracious man.
Yes.
I mean, he really set up the audience to be nice to me, and they were so great.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I had a great
good
time. I had a
Excellent.
great time. I was so nervous. I was having, like, an out-of-body experience, but
wow.
I got through it. I got through
Good
it.
for you.
Yeah, and I'm
you
proud
probably
of it.
killed it. You killed it.
I did. I'm happy with it. I am.
You're a hilarious lady.
Thank you.
It's a no-brainer.
Thank you. So,
no-brainer. I didn't see it, so if you didn't see it, just like I didn't see it, she says
YouTube
it. Yeah, YouTube
Helen
it.
Hong on Arsenio. It's right there.
I'm going to do it right after we get
And I looked cute.
off.
I looked really cute.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, because they have, like, you know, they do your hair and makeup. I mean, you don't have this problem. See, guys don't have this problem.
I don't have any hair.
Yeah. Guys don't, like, worry about their hair and makeup and their outfit. Girls have to worry about that stuff. But they have, like, a great team of hair and makeup people.
Nice.
So I looked good.
Good for you. Good. So you have some stills, too, from that? Some
Yeah.
photographs?
There's a really great photo. Their staff photographer took this amazing photo of me. Because after I stop and I'm like, because Arsenio was there on set, and I was like, ah, and I'm like opening my arms to hug him, and you can see Arsenio's, the back of his head, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So,
very exciting.
really
I can't
cool.
wait to see. You got me all psyched up and
Yay.
pumped now. Pump. And what else is going on? There's something else you're doing right now.
I'm on a Nickelodeon
Yes,
series.
that's it.
Yeah, for children, which is funny. Children,
Why is that funny?
don't watch my YouTube videos. It reminds me of that whole
of your
situation
material?
with Bob Saget. Remember when Bob Saget got Full House and
Right.
he was a filthy comedian?
Yeah.
And so, you know, he's on TV as this wholesome dad.
Let's pull all that off YouTube now.
I don't think
that what
he
you're
had
gonna do? Is
that
that
problem
what you're
because
gonna-
there wasn't YouTube, you know, he didn't come up in like a YouTube generation. I mean, I'm not saying that
Are you hiding everything?
I'm not a
from
filthy
public to
comedian,
hide?
but there's definitely jokes that, like,
Yeah.
9-year-olds should not be watching
Right.
on YouTube. And that's the demographic for the show. It's
Right.
like 9-year-olds. So it's funny. They're like, Mrs. Wong. Ooh, Mrs. Wong sure talks a lot about hand jobs. Don't do it, kids.
Yeah.
Don't look it up on YouTube.
You're not as bad as most of the ladies. I remember I had you at Dirty Divas, and you were
Fairly clean.
a clean diva. Yeah.
As
They
far
were
as
raunchy
TV.
and raw, which is another whole thing.
Yeah. I think it's a thing. It's
You have class. You do
Thank
whatever
you.
you do it with class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing that a lot of female comics do at the beginning of their career. Like, I did the same thing where I was a lot dirtier at the beginning of my career because there's a shock factor, right? Like a pretty girl or a cute girl saying nasty things, like, it's going to get a reaction. And so you use that as a crutch, like, oh, it gets a reaction. I'm going to do that. So I think that's why a lot of women comics start off
You start
by being
depending
dirty.
on it, too, though.
Yeah, but then I think after a certain point, like, I've been doing stand-up for almost 9 years.
Oh.
You know, you can't rely on the dirty stuff. Like, at a certain point,
No,
you don't
can't.
want to be dirty. You just want to be yourself.
And be funny.
Yeah.
And tell stories.
Yeah,
or
and, like,
things
talk
that
about
relate
really
to.
what's really going on with you. So
I've had, I'm sure you've had this many times, I've had a producer, promoter at the show, right before I go on, go, it's a clean show.
yeah.
And I go, oh, and then I realized to myself, I go, holy crap, do I only know dirty things? I mean,
You
come
know
on.
what's
It ma-
interesting? You know who
it
that
makes me
happened
work.
to?
It makes me work.
It happens to the best of us. I was doing a festival last year in Nebraska, and the headliner on the last night was Drew Carey. And they did that to him. Because I guess lately, because he's been doing Price is Right, he really wants to do dirty material because he has to be clean
Right,
during the day.
right.
So he'll get on, and he even says, like, you know, I have to be really clean during the day, so expect some F-bombs
Yeah.
to fly. Because this is when I get my dirty stuff out. So
Good for him.
we're in a
Yeah, you got it.
theater in Nebraska, and Drew Carey is about to go on stage, and literally 5 minutes before, they're like, oh, it's clean. And he's like, what? That's not what I prepared. I prepared
Oh my
F-bombs.
God.
And he actually struggled. Like, he didn't have a great set because he couldn't do any of the stuff that he had
How many
prepared.
minutes was he doing?
He was doing a headlining set, like 30 to
45. or
yeah,
something, right?
like well, not that long. I would say because it was after a lot of the other comics went. So I'd say probably at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man."
Give me some names of some of the comics, like comics that were mentors to you, and maybe even comics that inspired you. Maybe comics that you finally got to work with that made, monumental.
I once had to follow at a comedy club in New York Jerry Seinfeld, and I was so freaking nervous because he's Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
This was at Gotham Comedy Club, which I'm sure you know.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest clubs in New York, and he likes to drop in there, other places, but there particularly, he just likes to drop in unannounced. And so I was scheduled on the lineup, and they had warned me when I walked in. They were like, oh, Jerry Seinfeld might drop in. And I was like, okay. Well, it turns out Jerry Seinfeld dropped in right before my scheduled spot. So it's going to be Jerry Seinfeld and then Helen Hong immediately afterwards. And Jerry Seinfeld gets a standing ovation walking into the room.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so
How
crazy.
Do you compete with that?
He gets a standing ovation before he's gone on stage.
Yeah.
So I'm like sitting on the side, my chest is beating, I'm thumping. I was a much younger comic then. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to eat it. How can I follow Jerry Seinfeld? Oh my God. And I did it. And the reason why I did it is because I was honest. And I got on stage and I said, can I curse? Is it okay if I curse right now? I said, holy shit. That was Jerry Seinfeld. That's how I started my set. I was like, holy shit, that was Jerry Seinfeld. I'm going to put this on my resume. And they clapped and they applauded me because I included them in the experience that I was having. I was like, I'm nervous and I'm excited too. So, it got the crowd on my side. And that was a great lesson for me.
Yeah.
Because, interestingly, Jerry Seinfeld got a standing ovation walking in, but he didn't get one walking out. Because he often tries out new stuff. It's not like the polished stuff or the strongest stuff. So, but you know what? I did it, and it was a great experience because I'm like, if I can follow Jerry Seinfeld, I can follow anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I just have to address how exciting it is for the audience that just happened, and it's exciting for me, too. So... So yeah, at this point, I think I can pretty much follow anyone. Although I have yet to be on a show with Louis C.K., and he's my favorite comic, so.
Louis C.K.
Yeah. He's my favorite. Yeah, he's great. He's great. And I've been watching a lot of, because I'm having relationship problems lately, so I've been watching a lot of Chris Rock. Chris Rock is a great philosopher of relationships. I mean, he really, really... Just everything, all his observations about the differences between men and women. Like, I just rewatched his thing.
He's funny.
Where he said women can't go back in lifestyle and men can't go back sexually. And I laughed. And I was like, it's so true. It's so true. He's a really good philosopher. So if you're having dating problems, go back and watch Chris Rock. It'll help.
Now, who'd you grow up on?
I grew up on Margaret Cho. I really did, yeah, because I wasn't a huge fan of stand-up before I actually started doing stand-up, believe it or not. I didn't grow up with it in the house. My parents are immigrants. I didn't know stand-up comedy was like a thing you could do.
Yeah.
But I knew about Margaret Cho because obviously she's Asian American and she had a show, a TV show, and it was a really big deal. And me growing up Asian American, I was like, oh, she's Korean too, which I'm Korean American. So it was really, really interesting to me. And so I watched her. And I went to see her live. It was one of the few stand-up comedy shows that I've been to see live before I started doing stand-up. At the Wiltern Theater here in L.A. Her first comeback tour after her series. And it was the closest to this day I've ever been to actually pissing myself. Like, she was so funny. So funny. I almost peed in my pants. Like I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
My abdomens were killing me. I couldn't breathe. I almost peed. And it was great. I mean, she's a really, really strong comic. I think lately she's been trying to do a lot of political material, which I'm not really that into. I think a lot of people aren't that into it.
A lot of people.
So,
I stay away from political.
Yeah, because it's just...
religion.
No matter how funny you are, you're going to lose half the crowd. I mean, unless you're only playing the crowds that are gonna follow your, political slant.
Right.
You're always gonna lose half the crowd, no matter how funny you are. So I don't know.
You make jokes about your mom. Is that where you get your sense of humor from, or does she know what a character she is? Does she realize she's funny?
No idea.
She's hilarious, especially when you imitate your mom.
She has no idea. She has no idea. In fact, she has seen clips of me basically doing an impression of her, and she'll be like, "I don't get it. Why is that so funny? I don't get it."
That's good then,
and I'm
maybe.
like, you're hilarious.
Yeah.
You are a hilarious
That's what I tell
character.
my mom too. I do a voice. My mom always goes, "That's not my voice. I don't sound like that." And I'm like, Mom, listen, I'm sorry if you don't sound like that. People love it.
I mean, if it's
I've tried 5 different voices for her on stage, and that's the one everybody loves, so
exactly.
I'm sorry. That's her voice.
Exactly. And it's funny because it makes sense. Like, if you are the one, it's just you. You don't think it's a character, and you don't think it's funny, right? Because it's just you being you. But for other people, it's just hilarious. So
you're such a Renaissance girl. Do you consider yourself a Renaissance girl?
What does that mean? Like, in what sense?
Well, I mean, you write your material.
I do.
You're a comedian.
Yep.
You're an actress.
Yeah.
Voices.
Yeah.
Go ahead, fill in some more. I know I probably missed something.
Yeah. I guess I am. Like, in the sense that I'm not a traditional person.
You do a lot of things. You're multi-talented.
Yeah, thank you.
You're a Renaissance girl.
Thank you. I think you have to be in this day and age.
Yes, but let's not hurt all those other people who only do one thing out there. Let's not insult them.
Well, I am actually so lucky that as an actress... Cough under the breath.
They can't focus. What's their problems?
I think I'm really lucky because I'm acting now, and I meet so many actors who are only actors. Like, that's all they do. They're trained actors, and they're really good at being actors, but they don't write their material. Mm-hmm. They don't write their own stuff. They don't work on their own projects. They don't do anything else except for acting. Yeah,
memorize
and
it
I'm
and
like,
show up maybe.
That's torture, especially in this business, because you're just sitting around on your ass waiting for someone else to make decisions about your life.
You got to create it.
And in this day and age, especially now that we live in this world, I mean, last season, 3 pilots were made off of YouTube viral videos. 3 pilots were produced because of YouTube.
Incredible.
Yeah. Huh? And that's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the old model is dead. People who produce their own stuff, they have a leg up. You produce your own stuff, you put yourself in it, you showcase your strengths. You're already light years ahead of people who are just sitting around being like, I hope somebody casts me.
Yeah. How do you do with auditions? Because
I suck at it.
I'm in it so long now that sometimes, I get the ones that I think I suck, right? Those I get a call back. And the one I think I blew them away, I don't get a call back.
Yeah.
So, but afterwards, I have this thing, I don't even think about it. It's gone.
That's right? the best attitude.
I perform there and I leave, right?
That's the best attitude.
Everybody else has to ask me. I have to hear from everybody, because if they casually knew I went to one, and I try to hide that I go to auditions. Because if you tell somebody and they're like, hey, how'd that audition go? Hey, you hear from them yet? Hey, did they give you... Hey. It's like, hey, why don't you shut up and stop asking me?
You know what? I totally feel like this is some weird magical thing in the universe, but if I concentrate too much on an audition, I know I'm not going to get it. If I'm like mentally...
It's got to be cash. You just show up.
Totally got to be cash. You're absolutely right. You got to do it and forget about it. And those are the times that I get callback.
Oh, yeah.
Is when I'm like, I didn't even
and
remember.
They know it too. You look hungry. They were like looking at the animals. It's like
I totally went
grazing in the office waiting to go in. Yeah, it's disgusting.
I totally went to this SAG workshop with casting directors who were like, and every single one of them was like, if only actors weren't so desperate.
Yeah,
because they can smell it.
Yeah,
they can smell it when you walk in, and you're like, "Please give this to me. What do you want me to be? I'll be whatever you want me to be. Yeah. What do you want to see? I'll do whatever you want. And it's like, no. And they told this story about Viggo Mortensen. Do you know Viggo Mortensen?
No, refresh my memory.
He was in Lord of the Rings. He's in the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. He's a big time actor. He's been in a bunch of movies. He was in The Road, that apocalypse movie, The Road, which is a great movie. They were saying before he became famous, even back then, he would come into castings and you could just tell he didn't give a shit. Like, he just came in like, hey, this is what I do. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. You know, and they loved that because it's such a rare thing to see in an actor.
And talking about creating your own stuff and having stuff going, and being a Renaissance girl, that's important because there, too, in other words, they have links to your stuff. They Google your name. You've got a flyer in your hand or a postcard of the next show you're doing, or one-woman show, or stand-up, and it just brings validity to all it. You're not hungry. You're more cash.
It just shows that you've got other stuff going on.
And it makes you flourish.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening for you right now.
Thank you.
You got a lot of good things going on and a lot of things coming down the pipipeline.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm hearing rumors about you.
They're not true. Mom, they're not true.
There's things happening.
I've been keeping my panties on. What?
Oh, come on. I wasn't going
I
there.
know.
Oh, my God. Are you insinuating that some females in Hollywood actually have sex to get a role?
You know.
Are you kidding?
I have been hearing those stories.
Say it isn't so!
And I'm a little offended that no one in Hollywood wants to have sex with me for me to get a role. I'm like, well, somebody, please, casting couch me, please.
How come nobody's asked?
Nobody asked me, I'm telling you.
Me either.
It's like really,
you know,
I'm finding it offensive now.
I'm not gay, but I could be gay for a day maybe or something. You know, I never even had one of these gay guys go, you want to be in this movie? Spend the night.
Nobody.
I've been waiting.
Nobody. In fact, the most success that I've had with casting directors are with gay men who I know don't want to have sex with me. So
You just joined the posse.
Nobody wants to have sex with me. Nobody. Jeez. Damn it. Come on, harass me. Harass away.
No. Now we're probably getting tweets and emails of people who want to have sex with you, and I say people because
but you've got to be.
Could be anybody.
It's got to be tit for tat, so to speak. Like, if you want to have sex with me, what do you got?
What do you got?
What do you got?
What do you got? So, is there anything else? I mean, I didn't pry into your childhood this time around.
Wow.
Anything you want to just sum up growing up
childhood?
and mom, and that you don't sum up on stage, maybe?
You know, I read this interesting article. But first of all, I'm a huge fan of like this hippy dippy Oprah self-analysis, self-work movement. You know, about, like, I read Oprah Magazine, and I read all the Oprah Winfrey Network clips, and it's like, be self-empowering, and believe in yourself, and find your purpose in life. I love all that stuff. I love it. I eat it up. So I read this thing in Oprah Magazine about how to know if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with your life, you know? And this interesting thing said, you probably knew since you were really young what you wanted to do. And I think back, and actually, I remember wanting to be the lead in the school play at 7. I do. I remember that. And, you know, I even told my parents when I was in junior high, I told them I want to go to a fame school. Because I grew up in New York.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go to a performing arts high school. I wanted to go to LaGuardia. And they were like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah, it was like absurd.
They were like, you're insane. I don't even know what you're talking about right now. And so I was completely dissuaded and sidelined. But I knew then.
You're here.
Yeah.
You're here.
I mean, I took this very long detour because, you know, nobody supported me in that way. But I definitely knew even at 7, I was the lead in the school play. And I loved it. And I think that's true. I think that everybody knows what you want to do with your life when you're really young.
I want to see those photos. Arsenio didn't put them up on the screen.
I have some. I was cute. I was like, I remember being a fairy princess or something, or fairy queen in a white dress at the age of 7.
Yeah.
And I was good, damn it.
I was good, damn it.
Good. I was a good little actress.
Yeah, unlike all the other actresses in this town, you have good self-esteem.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I'm trying.
She's very modest, folks.
Read a lot of Oprah
my
magazine.
favorite thing about her.
I'm telling you, Oprah magazine changed my life. It's very self-empowering.
The big O.
The big O. Oprah.
Oprah. We're talking about Oprah now.
Oprah. Oprah is, I would say, Oprah and Ellen are my career idols. They're the careers that I want to, probably more Ellen, because Oprah's more like she's an empire, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to do like the magazines and all that, but
Yeah.
I would love to have Ellen's career.
I think you're a good role model, except for some of those penis jokes. But otherwise,
Other than penis jokes.
You're honest. You're honest.
Yeah.
That's what I like about your comedy. Where can everybody go to check out all your comedy if they haven't checked it out already?
You can go
Google
to
Helen Hong.
Helen Hong. You can YouTube me. I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Comedian.
Can they tweet?
Comedian Helen Hong. Yes, my Twitter handle is @funny Helen Hong because @Helen Hong is taken. Some biatch has it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I've been trying to buy it from her, and she won't even talk to me.
Oh. Not good.
No. She's like some
Really?
housewife or something. She doesn't even tweet. I'm like, give me your Twitter handle.
There's a Tony Milazzo, believe it or not, on Twitter. That's the only one that I don't have. I have Tony Milazzo Live is my handle on Twitter. And I'm live and on board.
Yeah.
So no big deal. And I have more followers than you, Mr. Milazzo. Okay, so Helen, this has been great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on board.
Live and on board. As we're wrapping up, one more thing. I'm going to ask you what's coming up, although I'm involved with you on one of the shows that are coming up. We have on the 30th, March 30th, Sunday.
I'm opening up at the Wits End in Venice for the hilarious Dwayne Perkins.
Yes.
Dwayne Perkins, really is one of the strongest comics out there. And he's doing a live taping for...
he's doing 45 minutes of his 1-hour show.
He's doing a taping of his special, and he is so smart, so funny, so clever, and a really decent person, and just hilariously awesome. So I'm going to be opening
and he's
for
from
him.
Brooklyn.
What's up, holla,
What's
holla?
up?
New Yorkers in the house.
Yeah, he's a homeboy, and we graduated from the same college, New York Institute of Technology. We
Really?
were alumni together. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Both alumni.
That's cool. I did not.
Yeah.
That's
I
ironic.
like the
That's
guy.
ironic
He's a
that the
sweetheart.
Italian and the black guy graduated from the tech school.
What are you talking
and
about?
I did not.
We're both Sicilian, Dwayne and I. Let's go over this. We're both Sicilian.
Dwayne Perkins.
He's light.
The Sicilian.
Take a look at him. He's Sicilian. He's not black. God. And I'm not white. Look at this. Do you see
you're
this?
dark. Well, being on this boat makes you dark, I
No, that's the Sicilian. Dwayne and I are brothers.
Yeah, they're bros. Brooklyn bros.
Brothers from a different mother. Okay, so we're going to go.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love it.
Thank you so much. You will come back so we
I would
can
love
sail
to.
and get some crazy things on tape.
Oh,
and
my
everybody
God. You
hear
can
it.
hear me puking into my monogrammed puke bag.
That's right. Thank you, Helen, so much for
Thank
coming
you,
today.
Tony.
We'll see you Sunday, March 30th with Rat Pack Comedy at
The Wits End in Venice.
In Venice, California.
The Wits End with a Z.
Yeah, a night with Dwayne Perkins. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You folks are all loyal. Keep subscribing, sharing it with a friend. If you want to go to the direct site, it's liveandonboard.tonymilazzo.com or just right here on iTunes. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Live and On Board with Tony Milazzo. Oh, boy.